Hello everybody, welcome back to Firefield Junction and welcome back to another review for you. Very quickly, before we do get into this video, I'd just quickly like just to say, just first of all, apologies if I do sound a bit groany or anything or like that, or a bit drowsy during the video. Unfortunately, I've got a bit of a cold at the moment, so not doing too badly. Certainly not really affects me too much, but just apologies. If at any point I do sound a bit drowsy or anything, yeah, not the best thing in the world having a cold, is it? But yeah, I just thought I would just say that very quickly before we go any further. And I would also like to do a shout out quickly to Charlie the Train Spotter. I do apologise that it's taken me so long to get to do this shout out for you. But yeah, I would just like to say a massive shout out for you because you have been asking me to do one for you for a while. So big shout out to you. Thank you for watching the videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy this one as well. So yeah, speaking of this video, what are we looking at? Well, as you can see, it's by Hornby and it's a Class 60 that we've got for us today. I think it's been quite a while since I've done one of these. I certainly can't remember the last time I did one. So I thought it'd be interesting for us to look at another one today. And obviously, well, hopefully for not much longer, this will no longer be the only premium Class 60 that you can buy. So obviously we've got Cavalex and Acura Scale doing a brand new tooled Class 60 for 00 gauge. And hopefully those aren't too far away. I have got one on pre-order from each manufacturer. So obviously when those come, we'll do reviews on those as well. About this moment in time when this particular video is going out, obviously at the moment neither of those models have been released yet, so it's still the Hornby model only at the moment, so that we can really enjoy. Well, I'll say that we've got the Lima version, but obviously that's quite an old version and not an incredibly high quality one. Obviously it's still just a job for some people, I suppose, but in terms of high quality premium models, this is the only loco, the only one that we can really go for at the moment. And this particular one, as we can see, it's in the Loadhaul livery, but it's the triple grey Loadhaul livery, if you like. So obviously the Loadhaul livery that most people will probably be familiar with is the usual sort of black and orange livery that Loadhaul normally go for. So it's a fairly plain livery in a sense, I suppose, but certainly not too, well, it's not too plain, I suppose. It's got a little bit of complexity to it, but there are more complex liveries out there. But obviously, yeah, the Loadhaul livery is normally more sort of black and orange livery with yellow ends. But there were a few locos, this being one of them. Well, there are actually 3 Class 60s that had this version of the Loadhaul livery applied. I believe it was also 050 and was it 068 or was it 058? Something like that. It does say on the back of the box somewhere. I'll have a look quickly. It does say somewhere. Okay, there we go. So it's 050, 064 and 070, which is what this one is, that received this version of the Loadhaul livery, obviously whenever they had it applied, and none of the other 60s had this version applied. Obviously those either didn't receive it at all, or they had the full sort of black and orange version of the livery applied. This particular loco, 60070, it was, when was it built? I think it was 1991 was when this one came into service. It was placed in storage at Toten in 2004, end of August 2004 I believe it was. But I believe it was one of the many that have been moved to new locations now for sort of, I don't know if they're being reactivated or they're having something done. I know some are being brought back into service, or they're trying to, but I'm not entirely sure what future this particular one has been sort of confirmed to be have yet or not. But it does still exist, which is the main thing at the moment. It's not running, but it does still exist. Which is good, I suppose, because I think at the moment in time still only one Class 60 has been scrapped so far, so I suppose that's a bonus in a way, isn't it? Anyway, if we look at the end of the box quickly, we can see, so the model code for this particular model is R3657. It's a Loadhaul Coco diesel electric Class 60. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name fully. It's, well, I'll have a go, I suppose. It's not too bad. I'm guessing, is it John Loudon or Loudon McAdam? I could be wrong. It's the middle name, not entirely sure about. But I'm guessing it's something like that. It's Loudon or Loudon McAdam is the name. Obviously number 60070. DCC ready, 8-pin DCC socket inside on this model. It's not the very latest 21-pin version of the Hornby Class 60, which obviously there are more have been announced. If you didn't see, I'm guessing most of you probably have seen, but if you didn't see, actually the National Festival of Railway Modelling that's literally just gone in the, well, past the last weekend, it was on. Which I was there, by the way. I was at the show on this Saturday and came out with a couple of things, and you'll see one of those in a future video. But obviously at the show, this was one of the announcements that Hornby made. They announced another 4 Class 60s, which is fair enough, but I don't think it was probably the best thing for them to do, really. But we won't go into all that here. I don't really want to go into that announcement too much, because I'll end up rambling on about it for ages and ages and ages. But yeah, this particular model itself is the 8-pin version, but I believe it was sort of one of the last 8-pin versions the Hornby did before they transferred over to the 21-pin version. So still fairly modern, which is good. But anyway, there isn't much else in the box, I believe. Obviously, on the back of the box, we do have the usual sort of information and everything there about the Class 60. So obviously, route availability 7. Got the general information there about the 60, and then a bit at the ends there about this particular one. And then we can see the drawings there, which are dated 2005. So that's when this tooling dates back to. Not every single thing, not every single sort of variant or component, I suppose, in this logo does date back to that time, but it'll mainly be sort of like detailing and bits like that still date back. Things like the circuit board inside will also be a bit more modern, and the electrics, I suppose, are the main thing really. But apart from that, for the most part, yeah, dates back to 2005. But anyway, we've talked about the thing for way too long now. Let's actually get the thing open and have a look inside. All the instructions are stuck to the back of the packaging, fair enough. I've had this logo for a little while now, but it's taken me so long to get around to it, which is I suppose a little bit of a shame in a way, isn't it? Shouldn't really have a logo like this, nice beautiful logo sat in the box for so long, but yeah, fortunately that's what's happened. And it came from Rails, actually. It was a Rails of Sheffield pre-owned item, but I believe it has, well, it certainly has new condition really, but in terms of how much it's actually been ran, I'm not too sure if it's been run at all really. Looking at those wheels, I don't think it's actually ever been ran, which will, well, that'll be a good thing in a way, which would be quite nice. I'll talk about price later. We'll actually get the thing out properly first. We'll still talk about the price, I think. So instructions, we'll quickly go through these. So we've got Class 60 Cocoa diesel electric locomotive, DC ready, fitted or sound. I think when this particular loco has been released, obviously the sound would have been TTS sound. And in terms of DC fitted, well, there never were any just normal DC fitted versions of these. And let's have a look inside. Hopefully it is Class 60 instructions inside, because on some of these Class 60s, the instructions on the inside have been for Class 31s. But hopefully not with this one. Yeah, there we go, thank God. So we have got instructions for the Class 60. That's a good start. It's on the last 60 that I actually got, which I haven't actually reviewed, but the last 60 I got before this. The instructions on the outside were normal, just like this. They said Class 60 and everything. But on the inside, on all of this, on the inside, it was all for the Class 31, which was a little bit weird. But that's fair enough. Mistakes happen. But anyway, we can see inside there all the usual bits that the instructions normally go into. So we've got the extra details there, which I'll definitely end up fitting at some point. I'll put some detail to one of the ends because I think it looks quite nice. Body removal, it's just clips on these and it's nice and easy to do. The lubrication, which again, nice and easy to access the various bits in the lubricating. Got the worm gears, the axles. Got the switches on the bottom there for the day or nighttime running lights that these have, which is good. We can see the DC ready or sound there. So yeah, 8-pin DC socket inside. Plenty of room for a speaker as well if you can fit sound. I'm not going to fit sound to this particular version. I'll have to go for a normal decoder in this logo for now. But yeah, as I said, plenty of room there for a speaker as well if you want to fit a sound decoder. Let's slide off the plastic there. We can get access to the details. So I'm guessing all the details are in here, or is it just the yeah, it's just the details. Are the nameplates in here as well, or have the nameplates been fitted? Have they been fitted? No, I can't feel them unless they're not in here. Are they in the detail bag? Because I can't see them anywhere else on the packaging. No, can't see them. They're not underneath, are they? No, can't see them there. Okay, so maybe the nameplates are missing from this particular logo then. Okay, fair enough. Again, it is, as I said, it is second hand, so I'm not expecting it to be absolutely perfect. But, well, a bit of a shame we haven't got the nameplates as far as I can tell, but, well, it could be worse. At least we've got the detailing pack here, which is, well, it's better, again, it's better than nothing. But we can see in there all the details. We've got the sort of snow plows there. Got the coupling, well, I suppose a spare coupling, or is it both couplings? Oh yeah, it's both couplings. Obviously the NEM pockets are already pre-fitted. And then we've got the various sort of vacuum tubings and chain link couplings and air hoses and everything there as well. So that's good. So again, I'll fit some of those at a later date, but obviously not going to do it now. And then just double check to make sure there's no other sort of other detail bag here with the nameplates in. I certainly can't see it. That's okay. So maybe the previous owner misplaced them when packaging the logo back up to sell onto rails. It does happen, I suppose. But we'll gently take off this plastic. It's mainly just being careful of the horns, because I think the horns are the most delicate parts on these Class 60s. Ooh, there we go. Grab the logo and lift her out. And then we can put that back down, put that to one side. And then we can take a look at the logo properly. And we'll just check. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are just the normal nameplates. Yeah, they're just the printed ones. So yeah, we haven't got the extra nameplates here, which is a bit of a shame, but again, being second hand, it's kind of fair enough. And I can always maybe get some from somewhere if I wanted to. I could probably find some online or get some custom made if I wanted to, but it doesn't bother me too much. If they're not there, it's fine. I can. The temporary printed ones are very good quality, so I can live with that for now, I suppose. Just seeing there, the body shell doesn't seem to be on properly. Doesn't seem to want to go on properly, but maybe it is okay. Maybe it could be this way. This particular logo has been designed and been built. It's that maybe just the sort of the tolerances were a little bit off or something. Yeah, never know. But anyway, we'll gloss over that. The logo itself, as we can see, if you're not familiar with the Hornby Class 60, well, I would certainly say it's definitely, in my opinion, one of the best diesels that they make. For a start, first thing, loads and loads of weight. Absolutely tons of weight inside there, so it's definitely going to haul well. The buffers are sprung. They're nice metal sprung buffers. Again, we've got the horns at the top there, which be really, really careful with those because they are very delicate. And I think if anything normally does break on these, it does tend to be the horns, because there's certainly plenty of spares out there available for them, such as 3D printed examples. So yeah, we'll be very, very careful with those. Got the separately fitted wipers on the windows there as well, and loads of riveted detail around the windscreen as well. I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but you've got loads of detail around there. We can see the lights there, and obviously they're going to work, so we get to see those later. The cab detail is very, very good. I think this is definitely one of the best cabs that Hornby have done in the past. I think they probably have improved slightly now on some other locos, but certainly with this loco, it's definitely one of the best cabs that they have done. You can see inside there, the various sort of painted details inside there, all of the controls. Even on the back wall there, you can see the doors been painted, and there's some various other details there that have been picked out as well. You can see the seats. It's definitely not a bad cab by any means. I suppose today it could be a little bit better. Maybe there could be a bit more painted detail inside there. But as it is, it's certainly not too bad. The doors do open, which is quite nice. Obviously, it's a very pointless feature, which not a lot of people will tend to use, but it's still nice that we've got them. And certainly with the prices these days, that's what you expect as well, I suppose. But yeah, again, it's not really that worth it, is it, in a way. But I suppose speaking of price, it's not something I've even mentioned yet. Well, obviously, if you were to buy one of these brand new, certainly the latest RRP for Hornby's Class 60 is £249.99, which is, well, it's a bit extreme, isn't it? Considering it's the most expensive Class 60 on the market, also the oldest. Yeah, let's work that one out. So yeah, probably not really the best value there, certainly with the latest models. But with this particular one, I only managed to pay £99.50 for this logo, which isn't bad going, really, is it? Considering it's basically almost never been used, and it's, well, as I said, pretty much brand new. You can't really complain about that, can you? Very, very good value there for money there, certainly. The livery application is very, very good. As we can see, all of the colours match nicely. There's no sort of bleed anywhere. There's nice sharp transfers between all the colours. And it's quite a fairly complex livery, I suppose, on this to get right, in a way. So you can't complain about that too much. You can see the join there between the two greys is very, very crisp. The nameplate there as well. Obviously, we haven't got the extra one to fit over that, which is a bit of a shame. Obviously, it does come with one. I promise you, this model would normally come with one. Obviously, with this one being second hand, it just hasn't, which I again just have to deal with that. But yeah, the temporary printed one is very, very good quality, so that's good. You've got the grills there as well. They're actual etched grills, so you can see through them. If I go back to the other end, you can actually see through there. You can see the actual engine room detail inside there, which is very, very nice. And there's no lighting inside there, but I'm pretty sure the cab legs and the Curoscope ones do have that, which we'll get to see when those come out. But no such thing on this loco. You can fit it though. I have seen it done. I have got a Class 60 that has had the engine room lighting fitted. On the roof, again, you've got more etched grills there, which feel very good. They've been very nicely moulded. Going down the other end, you can see the silencer there. That's a separate part, and it's been very nicely moulded. Have a quick look at the underframe as well. We can see there all the detail there, all nicely moulded. The warning signs on the fuel tanks and battery boxes there. The bogey detail, it's not too bad. I would say probably the bogies are a bit of a weaker spot on the Class 60. They're still not too bad. You've still got plenty of detail on there. The design of the bogies on these Class 60s, though, I'm not overly popular with. They can sometimes cause issues. Sometimes the bogie frames can sag down a bit. But on this loco, they seem to be a bit more sturdy, which is good. I have had issues on some of my other older Class 60s at times where the bogie frames, they can droop down a bit, so they're not overly secure. But on this model, they seem to be fine, which is good. Let's have a quick look at the other ends. Should be just as good as on the other. So we can see there, again, more sprung buffers. Obviously, we can see there, we've got the then pocket there. It is a kinematic coupling on these locos. It can cause issues sometimes. I have seen people who have had issues with these. I don't think I've had any of note sort of issues with these. Certainly not any issues that have been because of the coupling on the loco. So that's good. By default, as we can see, we have got the air dam with the space for the NEM pockets attached. What I'll do at some point though is I'll change that. So I'll take out the NEM pocket, because that literally just clips in. It clips in to the mechanism underneath, so that just pops out. I'll remove one of these air dams from this end, and I'll then fit the full one in a sense, so it doesn't have the gap here for the coupling. Fit that, then fit the two air hoses onto the end as well, and the chain link coupling, and that will be the loco nicely detailed on one end. It's not too bad. It's definitely, I think, one of the easier locos to detail these are. Not most of the time anyway. Have had one before where it's been a little bit stressful, but for the most part, it's not the worst loco in the world to detail, I suppose, because there's not overly that many details to fit, which is good anyway. But going back to the loco, we see we've got the other light cluster there, and obviously again those will work, and again we'll get to see those later. The cabia in the other end, again just as good as the other end. You can see in there all the details that have been picked out with the paintwork. Overall very, very nice. Again, you've got the opening doors. So yeah, overall a very, very good loco. The Class 60 from Hornby, it's definitely nothing to really complain about. It is a nice loco. Obviously, if you were to buy one of the brand new ones they've just announced, personally, it's not something I would recommend. But if you want one of these slightly older versions, obviously you can basically buy a 60 from almost any age group really from Hornby, certainly second hand. There's loads and loads of them out there, and I would definitely recommend it. Certainly, it's definitely one of the best locos in my opinion that Hornby have done. Very, very good quality, very, very nicely weighted, loads of detail, very nice delivery application. Yeah, definitely one of the Hornby's nicer products, I certainly would say. But anyway, the next thing we need to do is get her up onto the layout and actually see how she runs, because it's all good her looking very nice, but it's not working. So yeah, get up to the layout, get her on the track and see how she runs. Okay, so here we are back by the layout once again. So let's just grab the loco and get her on. It's a very, very heavy model, so try and be careful. There we are. I believe that's all wheels on. Just doubly make sure. And yeah, that seems to be all wheels on, so that's good. Now again, I'm pretty sure this loco is brand new. I certainly can't see any marks on the wheels that suggest she's even been ran. So we'll give her a nice full running in period just to make sure she's fully okay. Make sure all the oil is around the gears and make sure the motor is nicely bedded and everything. But we'll very quickly see what she's like at the moment before we do that. So let's give her a bit of power and see what happens. Well, that keeps in a very, very low setting on the controller there. Yeah, that was beautiful. And the other way. Yeah, that's not too bad, really. All the lights are working as they should. Again, you have to ignore the flickering on the camera. I promise they are stable. That's just how the camera's picking them up. She does seem to have a little bit of a, don't really know how to describe it. There is a bit of a noise there, like something is very, very gently rubbing somewhere. It could just be the gearing where it's a little bit dry, but it doesn't seem to be causing any issues. She does seem to be running okay. So let's get running in. We'll get her all nicely warmed up. I won't put her on too much straight at the moment. We'll get her run in, and then we can come back and then we can give her another test. So 50% speed, and let's get her running in. I'm You can already see there, she hasn't even done a full lap yet, and already she's getting faster and faster. So yeah, I think she definitely hasn't been run in before, so she's going to need it. And hopefully after that she'll be a bit quieter, a bit smoother. But even already, she's already running very, very well. So I doubt we're going to see much improvements, but never say never. Okay, let's just bring her to a stop. Go a little bit more. There we go. So there we are. She's now all nicely running. She's had a good sort of 30 minutes or so in each direction. So she's all nicely warmed up. All the lubricant has been distributed around the mechanism. Well, providing there is some in there, I'm sure there will be. I'll probably check later when I go to chip her. But yeah, there should be some in there. She's definitely running very well. Yeah, definitely no issues to report. She handled that perfectly. No derailments, no horrible issues or horrible sounds. That little sort of noise that she was making at the start when we first tested her seems to have gone away now as well, I think. So that's definitely helped. So let's just give her another wiggle now, and let's see what her slow speed is like. So I'll turn up the controller really slowly, and we'll see what she can do. Obviously this is on a very cheap Hornby train set controller as well. So let's see how she handles it. From previous experience, I'm expecting very good results here. Hopefully she's not going to show me up though. Well, there you go. Oh, she's moving a little bit more. There we go. She is moving very, very slowly. Maybe a tiny little bit of cogging. But I tell you what, that is not bad, is it? On a very cheap controller as well. It just shows how good the mechanisms inside these Hornby Classics are. Very slow acceleration. It does sort of suddenly kick in a little bit. Yeah, that's brilliant. Either direction, go a little bit fast this time. Ooh, yeah, she may be a tiny bit consistent, but again, she is still pretty new, so she might need a little bit more running. But yeah, that is brilliant. Very, very good. Again, on a very cheap controller, yeah, that is brilliant. Very, very good. And yeah, I've never had any performance issues from memory with these Hornby Classics either. They've always served me very, very well. So yeah, I really can't complain there. So I think now that she's all actually run in, we can do a bit more testing with her. I think all we need to do really is just, give her some power once again and get her running around the layout, and let's really see what her performance is like. So we'll go about 50% speed again, and let's see what she's like. Well, as expected, handling that absolutely beautifully. No problems whatsoever. This really is one of Hornby's best models, especially, well, at the very least, one of their best diesels for sure. Obviously, in areas it does show its age a little bit. And certainly once we get the new models out like Alex and Curascale, it really will, I suppose, date the logo. But even with that, she still is absolutely beautiful. There really isn't much wrong with these locos. I really can't think of much that I think really lets them down. I suppose if I were to be a bit nitpicky, I suppose the horns could be a bit better. They are very flimsy parts, because they are only made of plastic, and they are very, very small. So I suppose maybe making those out of metal could have been a better idea. And I suppose even the bogey frames, as I said earlier, they can cause problems sometimes. Obviously, as I said earlier, again, on this model, they seem to be okay. They seem to feel a bit more robust than I've experienced on previous versions. But yeah, overall, absolutely beautiful. Really can't fault this loco. Hornby do get quite a bit of I suppose, hate in a way from people. They can be quite critical of Hornby. But in this instance, there isn't really much to complain about. I suppose the latest RRPs of these could be I suppose it is one area that people could complain about, because As good as these locos are, they're certainly not worth anywhere near the latest price the Hornby are charging for these. Even though these are 21 pin DCC ready now, apart from that, there isn't really much else that has changed on them. They are pretty much overall still exactly the same, apart from that very one small upgrade that well, they should have received 10 years ago, let's be honest. But yeah, apart from that, a beautiful loco. A beautiful amount of detail, beautiful livery application, beautiful runner, and of course I got her for an absolute bargain as well, so not really much else to say, I suppose. I think she's pretty much summed it up in every other area. Definitely recommend to get these, I really do. Absolutely beautiful locomotives. So now let's have some ratings for the Hornby Loadhaul Class 60. So the detail overall, as I'm sure you can expect on this loco, I cannot fault it. The detail on this loco is absolutely amazing. As I've already said, the Class 60 from Hornby, it really is one of their best products in my opinion. Really can't fault it, to be honest. There's nothing really that I could say is wrong with this model, to be honest. It really is absolutely amazing. You've got loads of detail all over the place, separately fitted parts everywhere you look. You've got loads of etched metal grills as well, a beautiful amount of cab detail, sprung buffers, which I suppose is, well, that's a standard thing really, but might as well mention it. Got loads of detail on the underframe as well. I suppose the underframe maybe is a bit more of a plainer area of this model, which maybe could be a little bit better. But still, as it is, it's still absolutely beautiful. Really cannot fault the detail. The performance as well, overall, again, nothing I can really fault about it. A beautiful performer in every area, beautifully smooth, beautifully consistent. Really doesn't struggle at all. Very smooth. Really cannot fault it at all, and that does tend to be a strong area I find in Hornby locos most of the time, and especially with the mechanisms that they tend to have. They usually tend to perform very well, and again, the Class 60 and especially this loco as well really is a beautiful example of that in my opinion. Absolutely top notch. The quality of the loco as well, overall for the most part, really cannot fault it. I've only knocked it down ever so slightly, again as I mentioned earlier, I think because of the horns on these locos, with how delicate they are, and they can be very easily damaged, even with the most minor of knocks. They are very easily damaged, so I do think that they could be a slightly better quality. Again, as I said, if they're made out of metal, that would be a lot better. I haven't marked it down, I think, for the bogey frame issue though, especially because it doesn't seem to be existent on this logo. The bogey frames on this model do seem to be a lot more robust than I've experienced before, so I haven't knocked it down. I haven't knocked it down for that. It's mainly just I think the quality of the horns. I think it's let the loco down ever so slightly. But apart from that, everywhere else the quality does seem to be very good. Everything seems to be moulded very well. All of the parts seem to be fitted very straightly as well. There's no glue anywhere. The entire livery is applied beautifully as well. There's no paint bleed anywhere. Yeah, I really cannot fault it for the most part there on the quality. Again, it's just those horns, but everywhere else absolutely top notch. The value for money then. Now I suppose this might be a little bit, some people might disagree with me here. I haven't included the RRP for this value score. I've only included the price that I paid, which obviously was an absolute bargain. Some people might say I should include the RRP here, but I haven't, mainly because obviously this is not one of the latest versions of the Class 60 from Hornby. Not that the latest version really is much different to this. I suppose the only difference really on the newer versions is that they are 21 pin DCC. Obviously this is 8 pin. But again, for me, because this is an older version of the model, it's not fully representative of the latest versions from Hornby. I haven't included the RRP. I've just included the price that I paid, so for obvious reasons for that, so I've given it 10 out of 10 because again, just under £100 for this, you really can't ask for much better really. So I suppose the overall score of 9.75 out of 10 is a generous score, and certainly, as I said, most people probably do think that's a bit generous. But for me, in my opinion, I think it's very well deserving. It is an absolutely fantastic model. Again, definitely one of Hornby's better works, I think. It really is a fantastic product. Obviously, again, as we've seen so far from various shots online and various samples, obviously the Cavalex and Acura scale versions will be a lot better than this. So obviously, again, this score probably isn't going to be, again, isn't fully representative of this product, because it's obviously, I suppose, comparing this in a way to the very latest new tooling products, again from maybe Acura scale or Cavalex, like the 37 or the 56, which I suppose in a way, obviously this isn't quite as good as those. But for me personally, all things considered, again, I think the value for money, I think, is one of the biggest things here that really has helped the loco out. For me, I think the score is very well deserving. It's still a beautiful loco, again, absolutely beautiful in pretty much all areas. I can't really fault it. Obviously, if I were to re-review one of these after the new versions from Akira Scan Calyx have come out, obviously I'm sure the score wouldn't be as high as this, but for the moment, with the models that we've got currently on the market, I think this is a very well deserving score. I would definitely recommend it.